Greetings, sisters and brothers in Christ. John's Gospel records Jesus who says, "I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You should also love one another." Love is the essence of Jesus' call. He invites us to share our love for one another through our words and through our actions. Love draws us together to be the people of God that we call Faith Lutheran Church. Love draws us to support one another and to give comfort to one another. The mutual love that we share with one another gives us the hope and the energy to move ahead as a congregation. Each of us draws on the love that we've gained as members of this church community. We remember Sunday school experiences and family reunions. We remember festive worship experiences, and we gather the strength as we gather for confirmations and baptisms and anniversaries. We have held one another during funerals. We have drawn on our mutual love through our own grief. And now we feel an ache in our hearts as this pandemic continues to touch our lives. Many of us know friends, colleagues, family members who have tested positive for COVID and been hospitalized with the virus. We've lost loved ones, friends, and acquaintances with the virus. And we have watched as the new Delta variant has invaded our communities. We are grieving. We're grieving the loss of a normal world, the normal world which we had once known, which we did not think we would lose. We grieve the normal world in which we could simply not think about face masks and vaccinations. We miss the simple lives that we led before COVID. We miss one another. We're grieving. And our feelings of grief and disappointment, however, these are signs that we love one another, that we miss one another. We love our sisters and our brothers here at Faith. We love the life we have together as a community. We love the certainty that we will once again return to that life at Faith Lutheran Church. In the meantime, we're living out Jesus' command to love one another in new ways. Jesus calls us to love one another. We are called to love and to cherish and to protect those Jesus remembered, the powerless, the weakest among us, the most vulnerable. Our children, the elderly, those living with conditions that compromise their immune system. And so we're following Jesus' call to love one another and to protect our neighbor. The latest guidelines from medical experts is that the Delta variant threatens those who are not vaccinated. Our youngest children and many who are unable to vaccinate are at the most risk right now. Records are indicating that our hospital wards and our children's hospitals are filling again. So in response, Faith aims to follow Jesus' command to love and protect one another, the most vulnerable, the weakest. We do this by social distancing and face masking at worship. We employ these steps so that we can care for one another and in order to protect those who may be encountered by us in the weekdays between our times together at worship. Love one another, Jesus says. I invite you to become religious, really, about the practices that are in place so that we can demonstrate our love for one another. We miss our pre-pandemic lives. We grieve the fact that our lives are being interrupted at this moment, but Jesus also grounds us in hope and certainty. 2 weeks ago, 2 families joined Faith Lutheran Church. In the midst of a pandemic, our congregation gained members. And as those 2 households joined the congregation during the worship service, I reminded the worshipers that this is not only a sign of hope, but this was a sign of certainty. God's certain promise of life and a new promise for life ahead at Faith. Christians call this kind of certainty resurrection. And so I'm inviting the congregation to demonstrate our love for one another through some very practical steps. Experts repeatedly tell us that the response to the Delta variant by masking and closed areas, masking in public places, and social distancing are vital. Experts also are urging us, those who are able, to receive your vaccination. And by doing so, we're able to protect our neighbor, especially the children, our weakest and our most vulnerable. And by following these steps, we are living into Jesus' commandment to love and to protect one another. These 3 steps provide not only a way to stem the virus, but to prevent the virus from taking hold and mutating into a different form. So I implore you to follow these 3 steps. If you are able, receive your vaccination. Please face mask and social distance. And as we make efforts to get our vaccinations, as we diligently practice face masking and social distancing, we'll speed the day ahead when we can again return to a sense of normalcy and life together in this beautiful community that we call Faith Lutheran Church. By following these practices, we are following Jesus' call to love one another. God bless you, and God keep you.